Hi there, Muffins. Thanks for being here on this Sunday, August 18th. I'm going to create a little video series for you this week. I want to provide some wisdom on a few terms that are used in astrology that might seem overwhelming, uncertain, or maybe a little woo-woo. But I want to break it down for you. So we're going to start off with the first lunation that is happening, and we are entering it tomorrow, August 19th, and this full moon is known as a blue supermoon, and it's a full moon in Aquarius. So I'm going to talk about that terminology. The full moon, the blue moon, and the supermoon. So this full moon in Aquarius, let's talk about the full moon part. So a full moon embodies a natural rhythm and cycle. You may know this lunation as a full moon in Aquarius. Others are going to refer to it as a sturgeon moon, a corn moon, or a grain moon. This particular moon honors the harvest season. Regardless of what you choose to call this lunation, consider it a spiritual opportunity to reap what you have sowed. Not SEW, SOW. Reflect on what has prospered in your life and take pride of the abundance that you have manifested. Now, additionally, the full moon in Aquarius, it will also be a supermoon and a blue moon. So let me break down the supermoon and the blue moon part. So a supermoon occurs when the full moon coincides with its closest approach to Earth in its elliptical orbit. Because of this proximity, the moon will appear 15 to 20% larger than usual in the sky. A supermoon can have a more significant gravitational pull on Earth, so this will affect tides and potentially amplify emotional, energetic experiences. So that's our supermoon. Emotions will be running high. Now let's talk about briefly the blue moon, because a blue moon is a rare occurrence. So the term blue moon is used to describe the second full moon within a single calendar month. However, in this case, this is referring to a less common definition because it's the third full moon in this solstice and equinox time. So basically since the end of spring going into fall, we've had 4 full moons. That's a rare thing. And this only happens every 2 to 3 years, which is why it's called a blue moon. And this is where we get the phrase, once in a blue moon, because it's a rarity. So with this blue moon, believe in the impossible. So now let's put this together. So this full moon, I have my card on that. This full moon in Aquarius is a blue moon because it's an additional full moon in the season that usually has 3 moons in that year. And it's also a supermoon because it occurs when the moon is its closest point to Earth, making it appear brighter and more luminous. So what does this mean? With this power that we are approaching and experiencing, when the full moon is this larger and brighter and spiritual energy that we're all feeling, you're going to feel more emotions. You might be a little moodier than usual. I've been a little on the foggy side. Now, the idea of the blue moon, it has nothing to do with the color. It's not going to be blue unless you're near the ocean and the ocean light and the moonlight is reflecting off the ocean. Then the moon will appear this light blue color, but it's not going to affect the color. It's just super rare and it's extremely powerful. So on this day, what you need to focus on during this full moon is where you were 6 months ago So we're going back to February 19th. And how far have you come since then? That's all it means. So we're going to cover that in part 3, not in part 2. Because in part 2, we're going to cover a little bit about these seasonal changes, or more as I like to refer to, why terms are used such as the sun is in Leo, the moon is in Aquarius, Mercury is in retrograde in Leo, and all those terms can sound really woo-woo. But there's actually a physical shift happening planetarily or systematically, or however you want to think it. These are things that are physically happening, not just terms to say. So get ready for part 2. We're going to cover a little more on terminologies to keep it simple so you feel you've gained a little bit more wisdom of understanding astrology and the moon phases. We're going to cover tarot at a different time, but right now we're just going to focus on the astrology and the moon phases. So get ready for part 2.